We're going to look at how the political waters and people on are behaving. Today we will x-ray on that, and then we will hear. Also give us update of what is happening around you. Thank you for joining us. This is Aqua TV International, and to do this with me is Joyce Jakada.
It's always a pleasure to discuss issues that revolves around our nation.
Mahmoud Yakubu, the INEC chairman, is saying, he said parties, candidates and their supporters should not, by act of commission or omission, further complicate the prevailing security situation in the country. A peaceful electioneering campaign
is key. It's rather unfortunate that after we saw presidential candidates of the various political parties sign the peace accord, what we are seeing is that verbal abuse, hate speeches, attacks among determine how our election is going to be on the election day. But from the electioneering process, that's when you will determine how the election is going to be. And like I said, like the INEC boss said, it is very beyond going to sign a peace accord. It is important that you go back, you call your supporters, you talk to them that this thing is not about personal interest, it's not about fighting, it's not about what we see today. What you should be able to do is to tell the person reasons based on issues on ground. When you vote my party, when you vote this candidate, he's going to address the issue of poverty, he's going to address the issue of education, he's going to, you mentioned liking it to internet terrorism. People will insult you, people fight themselves, and I wonder, like you've been fighting since 2015, 2019 until today, you are still fighting. How has it changed your lives? These people were the son of Buhari. We saw how all these people came together. They were shaking hands, hugging themselves, celebrating each other. And then when you go back, you see how their supporters are busy fighting themselves. Nigeria like we are fragile when it comes to ethnicity, religious issue. And I don't think that on any grounds anybody should start fighting themselves. What we should be concerned more about is issues rather than fighting on things that does not even make sense or will not even help us that we are facing. What we are looking forward to is an improved security system. So I think this is a call to supporters and even the politicians to call their supporters to order, that rather than rendering insult, rather than verbal abuse, in fact, even the politicians will set the example. Because if you are insulting the other candidate, what your supporters will do, they will just help you fight like their supporters. So let's see examples that when you go out to campaign, when you go to appeal for vote from people, you should do it on the basis of issues, not abuse.
I strongly agree with you, because this is key, this is important. You know, looking at the situation of the deep, you know, that affected almost every aspect of life. You know, when you talk about Nigeria as a nation, you know, that everything now is standstill because people talk about security, because without security, you know, nothing will thrive. You know, even the politicians, I bet you there are places they won't enter because they know once they enter, it's not safe. You know, and then if you are looking for an office and then during your campaign, Francis, you know, is suggesting otherwise, you know, that is not acceptable. And I feel it is very important that the election body, you know, the INEC boss, you know, himself, he's raising concern on that, and he's drawing their attention on the Electoral Act, because what they are even doing is even violating the Electoral Act. And then this is somebody that he's saying he's coming to address the issue of insecurity, he's coming to address the issue of
diversity.
You understand? And then your body language is telling your supporters different things. And like you said, you draw our attention to the issue of even supporters. I wonder, like since 1999, you know, we've been seeing the issue of that today we'll call political talks, you know, that they use them, they pay them, give them heavy money, you know, during their budget, they have a particular budget for this guys, you know, because these are the people that they use. Is either you are not working with the government, somebody is campaigning against them, they go there and they scatter the place. You understand? And that's not what we want to see. We want to see a situation whereby real issues will be discussed. Let's engage each other, you know, intellectually, you know, argue your point, whatever you are selling for your candidate. Let's see how we will argue it out, not bringing all machetes, sticks and the rest, and then we are fighting each other. And like you rightly say, that time Kano was locked down. How many presidential jets did we see? Is an opposition to the president, you know, but he is the father of the day that day. So you can see how close they are. Even this media pally stepped down for him because it's a payback time. He know what he did to him. 2017. So when these people talk, you don't see it like shallow. He's invested during that time, and he can't look at him and say no. So we just encourage the followers, you know, wise up, and then think deep. This thing is beyond what you are seeing for. Did he really care? Some of them don't even know where you're coming from. So because as far as they are concerned, they hired you.
Let me tell you something. Very soon you will hear all these politicians from different political parties. You will see them together and you see them celebrating. One of our challenge as people is that when a criminal is being caught, like you just, he's my criminal. Like he's the ambassador of his people, so you don't want him to be, you don't want people to try to, let them, they'll go back to history to dig out what the other presidential candidates said so that they will juxtapose it and
instead
say, even this one too said this. But can't we go back to issues? What about the high cost of living? What about hunger? What about flooding? How about the people that have been displaced? Who is talking about that? What about oil theft? Can we call these people and dare them to talk about what they are going to do, what solution they are going to bring, how they are going to generate funds to even meet up with all these political parties that their party is supreme. So regardless of whatever anybody say, the party remains supreme. Like the section in the Electoral Act, section 97 is against all this hate speech, verbal abuse, campaigning on the basis of ethnicity, sectionalism, amongst others. And then we see how people are busy bridging those things. Like the First Republic and Second Republic political parties, when what you see, one thing that it is what you have on ground that will make you, like will make people support you. Like you don't need to fight yourself. But today, people they will tell you they are trying to demarket the other person. So the best they can do is to start insulting themselves, like go and instigate their supporters to also fight the other person. But it will not take us anywhere. It will not even drop down the prices of goods in the market. Inflation does not know gender, it doesn't even know religion, it doesn't eat. So why are we fighting ourselves? Why do we have to continue to attack political parties? These things are enshrined in the constitution. Why not obey it? In Kaduna State, when PDP went for their presidential campaign, the party was attacked. We saw it. And also in Zamfara, the gubernatorial candidate ask yourself question like, how can an individual be greater than an institution? You just take decision, not that you went to court or even approach NBC, but you take decisions like that. I think it will go a long way to tell Nigerians the kind of leaders they are electing into offices. Are you electing people that are they are just dictators, or you're going to be electing people that are democratic, people that are going to be listening to you and even meeting up your needs? Like I saw a statement by one of the governor in Nigeria that said that all the people that spoke against him is going to lock them up. Like he will make sure he lock them up and shuts their mouth. Like what kind of system are we in? So I think as 2023 approaches, far beyond fighting, far beyond internet terrorism, far beyond verbal wars, far beyond hate incident, their pedigrees. Like don't vote somebody that tomorrow will imprison you. Because on what ground would you complain? It should be issue-based. Let's dare these people to tell us, what will you do to bridge the gap between the para price of dollar and the official rate? What would you do with the poverty ratio? What would you do with inflation, high cost of? Ask them question and write it down. I think that is what we should be concerned about.
I agree with you. And to build on that, you know, the president and his cabinet, they are having parley, you know, review with 7 years plus, and then they have just 7 months to round up. And then the president is saying, consequently, all ministers, permanent secretaries, and heads of agencies must remain focused in the discharge of their duties, as any infraction will be viewed seriously. Your collective goal, all policies, programs, and projects of government with up-to-date status of implementation. This is what the president is saying. And then he he gave himself a pass mark,
Of
you know,
course.
so far for his administration. You know, what's your take?
Like I said yesterday, beyond saying you have met the expectations and the yearnings of Nigeria, if you go and meet the Akarasela on the street, will she say the same, that she has felt the impact of the government in terms of education, in terms of even having a good road, in terms of even light? Like, will she say, I went to the market, I comfortably afford like things I wanted to buy? Like, can the average Nigeria for this present government and say, yes, you have actually met my expectation? I was buying maybe a goods at this price, but now it's lower than that price. Or they would rather say the price have actually inflated, or that yes, this government were able to do it, or what we see is looting and relooting. Like, these are questions that we should be asking ourselves, beyond you sitting down and writing script and saying, yes, you have done well, you have a pass mark. Can you go to the street and ask people questions and they will say, without you asking us, actually you did well? Like, far beyond talking, I think Nigerians should be able to answer that question. Do you know that when you look at, we've had issues of attack, like banditry.
Just yesterday there was a kidnap, you know,
I like
in
the
Niger.
fact that the president is even coming out to say that people should focus on governance rather than being distracted with even the political campaigns and all of that. We have politicians that are still holding offices, and then issue of governance is like something they just kept on one side, and their focus is 2020. Your primary responsibility that is enshrined in the constitution for you to protect lives of Nigeria and property. Like, as we move towards the 2020 election, let me tell you something, Zolo. Money has been released for the police, 13.4 billion for them to procure equipment. Correctional service, 1.4 billion naira. And for the civil defense, 520 million. I was asking myself, during the attack in Bokos, was money released in Bassa, in Zamfara, in Sokoto? Or is it just key? As important as this is, the protections of lives and property is very important. And I want to urge all the office holders, political office holders, that far beyond campaign, there was also an attack yesterday in Wasi local government. Can the governor say that this was what I was able to do about it? Let's not forget governance is very
to sing their praises, because I so much believe the way you go out there to campaign, you know, to ask people to vote for you because this is what you're offering, you know, and then even there and then you yourself, you look at some of the things there that you say you will fix, and then they will be looking at you back whether you have fixed them. Politicians come, they feel it's business as usual, because they normally come and they tell you, we can't even say when last they went home to their constituency, or then they get their card and say they are with they are withdrawing their yes, you understand. But aside that, they don't even go to their constituency. They don't hold your lawmaker that is representing you. It's difficult. It's hard to even see them. Some, they are even around, but they because it is always going to be excuse and then people. It is high time, Joyce, because we can't continue like this. You can't say that when you are talking about hunger, and 13 out of 121 countries.
It's sad.
It's sad. It's not acceptable. And now we are talking about, and then 2 people were killed in Niger, you know, in hospital. You begin to ask, is it this country that we hope for, like from military rule to democratic regime? Is it what democracy has to offer for us? I think the electorate should think twice. Issue of fighting. Look at their manifestos. Pick it up. Make it an issue. Discuss it. Argue it out. And sell it.
That's
and see who is talking sense. You understand? Yeah. Because Sulusi Lamido was saying, he said religion, ethnicity is not our problem. Because our problem are our leaders, because they use religion, they use ethnicity to divide us, to cause confusion to over 200 population that we are talking of Nigerians. Check the fraction. How many percent are they? If we bring our mind, our strength, our energy, everything together, I think think we will overpower these bad leaders, and we will bring our country to factory setting.
And change that they desire by ensuring they participate in the process.
Thank you very much, Joyce, for doing this with me. And for you, viewer, it is very important to hold tight to your voter's card, because 2023, we are going to make a deliberate action to change any bad governance that is taking us back. Thank you. God bless you.